Hawk and Dove #2, written by Sterling Gates, art by Rob Liefeld. We last left off, there were some zombie things, and a dude showed up who looked exactly like Hawk, and he killed one of the... I don't care. Anyway, we open up with, last week, another dude who looks exactly like Hawk. His name is Osprey. He's tied up, he's beaten, he's gray colored instead of red, or as the other guy was, brown. And the brown one actually shows up, and he calls the gray one Osprey, and he reveals himself to be Condor. And they are both also avatars of war, which really makes me confused for how it works, because I thought it was like they were imbued with the power of the god themselves. But I guess there's just a bunch of them running around, all looking pretty much identical. Whatever. So anyway, he's saying like, alright, so here's what's going to happen. You've got power of the avatar inside of you, and we're going to kill you and take it. And he's like, and we see this young girl who's just so eager to just drive this knife into Osprey's chest. So she comes up, she stabs him, she absorbs the power of... Despite him being a war avatar, she somehow gets the peace avatar's powers and becomes Swan, who looks exactly like Dove, but yellow. So they're like, did it work? Did it work? And she's like, yeah, it worked. So they make out, and then we just don't deal with them for a while. Cut to, they're still dealing with zombies from that Professor What's-His-Face, Quark. Such a great name. Still dealing with zombies being released all over the place. They found a building, like a hideout of his, where a bunch of them were being kept. And they're fighting through. Dawn says she found something. Sorry, Dove, because she's not in her civvies. Dove says she found something when Dead Man, a.k.a. Boston Brand, shows up. And he's like, hey, I thought we had a date. They're dating. I think that was established last issue. And she's like, hey, I'm kind of in the middle of something. Like, you know, a guy who thinks they can take down the world's governments with zombies. So, no, I don't really have a minute to talk. And he's like, all right, sorry, Jesus. She gets attacked. Dead Man gives her, like, barely any warning on it. But that just makes Doug a little bit pissed off. Tells Boston that he needs to go. And as he's walking away, Hank walks in and is like, hey, you said you found something? And Boston makes a comment of, yeah, she did, jerk. True love. And then he walks through the wall, and I'm just like, are you fucking... Sure, Dead Man, you dumb... Anyway. So a bunch more zombies pop out, they're fighting through them, and then cut to some random political event where Hank Hall's dad is being honored for being such an awesome judge. He's getting a Lifetime Service Award. Hank is late, but he shows up and is like, yeah, we had a little bit of a problem with some zombies. And Hank's like, or his dad's like, you're here now, no big deal. But then his father reveals that he invited to this event as the plus one Hank's ex-girlfriend named Ren. I don't think I'm ever supposed to know her, but they just talk about how she was, as is common in the DC universe, an investigative journalist. So basically they dated and they broke up. He thinks it was because his exact wording, which I don't get, his exact wording is, because they were worried about being seen around town with someone handsome as him on their arm. That's not a reason, Hank. And then she says, no, it's because you'd rather strap on red boots and run around. And then Dawn shows up, and Ren's like, oh, great, she's here. I'm going to go powder my nose. So anyway, they start this award ceremony. It's not Obama is presiding over it. It's just Obama. And once Ren hasn't shown up for like half an hour, they go to check on her. They sense there's danger. There's an explosion. And they're like, oh, what could it be? We have to turn in a Hawk and Dove. So they turn in a Hawk and Dove. And there's some screaming and rioting noises out from the main hall. They run out there. And not Obama and Hank's dad have been captured by Condor and Swan, ending the issue. What was the point of the zombie thing? We're just dealing with Condor and Swan. Was that just... I don't understand that part. It doesn't seem like it's doing anything, but whatever. Sure, zombies. That's just the backdrop. That's just the normal everyday stuff. So I don't. This book must suck for colorblind people. I'm going to tell you that because they look virtually identical except for color palette swaps. It's strange that they went with this choice, and to introduce another one who also looks the same but is monochrome. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Personally, I don't think the story's terrible. I think it's okay-ish. Maybe a bit wordy at times, but it's fine. It's the art that's really dragging it down for me. It's Liefeld. It's just Liefeld. What more do I have to say than it's just Liefeld? So overall, I think the two even out. I'm just going to give this a straight 5. It's perfectly average. The only writing critique I can really say is that dead man bit where it's like, yeah, she did, you jerk. Oh, shut up. So no. Hawk and Dove, number 2. I give it a 5. I don't know where I see... Like, it's obvious that these guys are just going to, like, Condor's just looking to kill all the other avatars. It's a Highlander situation. There can only be one. And that, fine, whatever. So be it. That's a story you want to tell. But at the same point, differentiate him, man. Come on.